Any questions? David?
Just on rates revenue, you know, we've heard a lot lately about an amount of outstanding rates, and I just noted that we were ahead of our sort of rates collection. Where do we stand with the uncollected rates these days? Are they factored into that figure that we've got? We just happen to be ahead at this time of the year, or is there still a...
ahead of rates budgets because of revaluations, but we always have a small amount of rates that still need to be collected. It's a relatively small amount. I can't tell you off the top of my head what that is, but it is factored into that. Okay.
And just the second thing, just a point of procedure, I suppose. We've got these things that are great, and I note that they're for the public to use up there, but they're stored behind there and no one would even know that they're there. Okay. So it would probably help to have them down that way somewhere.
Agreed. Yeah, we'll do that. No problem. Do you find them useful?
Yeah.
Yep. Anything else? Aaron?
Just a point on those.
Just one. Just a reminder to everyone around here, they're actually useless if you don't use your microphone.
Yes.
Right.
So just to follow up to that, Dave, when you take it off and sit it on the desk near the microphone, it's feeding back for the rest of us. Just so pull it each time. Thanks.
Yanni?
Thank you. I just see it on page 11 or 6 of your report, 11 of the supplementary. It says that the urban regeneration team, a central city housing program is currently under development. Mm-hmm. Do we know what that is? Can you just explain a little bit about what that is, and is it going to go through the housing subcommittee?
I'll get Brendan to respond to that.
The development forum just the last couple of days, and will come from the development forum to council over the next couple of weeks.
What's it looking to achieve?
What's it looking to achieve?
Yeah.
What is it? Speak to
that. So it's looking to achieve a number of things, but primarily the aspirations that are set out in the Livable City chapter of the Central City Recovery Plan, which had between 16 and 24,000 residents living in the Central City, along with the targets we've set in our housing policy and the commercial targets that we have around, the commercial and social benefit targets we have around a vibrant city, which is generally now considered as needing people to live in the central city and provide a 24/7 economy.
I guess I'm just kind of on the back of that, I'm not sure when we're going to look at the strategy and work planning program, but I'm just mindful that there's a number of other things that we want as priorities, and this is a new piece of work that it would be quite good just to understand how this fits in with all the other priorities we have, and also
this derives specifically out of the settlement pattern review, which we are legally required to do. So instead of just factoring in the legal obligation that we have under the National Policy Statement, we are looking at what specifically for Christchurch would enhance residential development in the CBD.
Right. So my understanding from the presentation from Regenerate Christchurch yesterday at the Finance Committee is they're doing a review of the blueprint, and it's wider than what was in the letter of expectation, and that's going to be presented to us in January. So I would have thought until we've done that, we shouldn't be commencing new work programs until we actually have a chance to see
this is a legal obligation. It's called a National Policy Statement on Urban Development, and we have to do it. So I think it's very sensible to report through the Development Forum on the nature of the work that needs to be done in Christchurch. I mean, we're not in the same position as Auckland. You know, we're not in the same position as other parts of the city, other parts of the country that are The national policy statement was designed to fix problems in other centres. We are still obliged to do it. But I don't know whether Jamie wants to comment on it because it came to the development forum the other day.
No, I totally agree, but I think we can deal with it. I don't tips from
Well, why don't you put it on the housing task force or the housing subcommittee so that we can get updated
No,
and
no,
put it on our
it's
work program?
coming to council. That they are reporting back.
They are coming back.
So it will be coming to council in the next. I don't know if it'll make it onto the agenda for next week.
No, it'll probably be next year.
But we had a presentation on the national policy statement on urban development capacity and central city residential development. And there was a number of comments that were made at the forum itself, which will help us understand what it is that we could do in terms of identifying the barriers to residential development in the central city, accelerating the delivery of the council's goal for central city residential development, improve the street maintenance and living environment of the central city, and coordinating marketing of the benefits of central city living. So. And we've asked staff for advice on the appropriate governance, reporting and monitoring arrangements, and that includes which committee it comes through. So, I mean, it's all of these things are being done because they're driven off a central government policy, previous government policy, which has a national policy statement that we must follow.
Okay. Sorry, it wasn't clear from the report, but that's fine.
May I make a comment?
Yes, sure.
Okay, sure. Just a positive outcome of joining across, say, a couple of committees is, for instance, yesterday at Phil's committee was discussed the geospatial tool concept, which I think speaks right into this over urban planning. So if we do join up committees, pieces of work, you do get, added value, I think. So yeah, if you could run it through your committee, perhaps. Well, it won't make it in time.
Well, I would think the main thing is that the minutes of each of those committees this information is going to. In fact, we pull those together and that they should be available for council.
But it's coming to council. So I'm just saying to Carleen that perhaps what we could do is see if we could generate just the reference of this one to the next council meeting next week. And then it's in the system. I mean, it's as I say, it's the appropriate governance, reporting and monitoring arrangements, progressing the requirement for Regenerate Christchurch to immediately review the Christchurch Central Recovery Plan, which is what they're doing at the moment, whether a regeneration plan could provide new mechanisms for increasing residential development opportunities in the central city, land banking in the central city, and the opportunity to work with central government on a coordinated approach. So these are all sensible things to do, arising out of a statutory obligation that we have to act on the MPS requirements.
So this is a paper from the development forum.
Yeah. So, I mean, it would be quite good if we could get it on the agenda next week and then staff can start working on it. Smile, Brendan. Right. He was smiling. But he wasn't smiling inside, it was just outside. And he was thinking, no, I won't tell you what I thought he was thinking. Anyway, are there any other questions for Carleen? Does someone like to move? David, seconded. Aaron, put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried.